Final Fantasy IX is a role-playing video game developed and published by Square for the Sony PlayStation video game console. Originally released in 2000, it is the ninth title in the Final Fantasy series and last to debut on the original PlayStation console. In 2010, it was re-released as a PS1 Classics title on the PlayStation Network. The game introduced new features to the series like the active time event, Mognet, and a unique equipment and skill system. Final Fantasy IX's plot centers on a war between nations. Players follow a young thief named Dan Tribal, who joins with others to defeat Queen Brana of Alexandria, the one responsible for starting the war. The plot shifts, however, when the characters realize that Brana is working with an even more threatening person called Kuja. Final Fantasy IX was developed alongside Final Fantasy VIII, but took a different approach by returning to the more traditional style of the early Final Fantasy games. It was released to critical acclaim and holds the highest Metacritic score of all Final Fantasy installments. Final Fantasy IX was commercially successful, selling 5.30 million units worldwide by March 31, 2003. Square Enix announced in December 31, 2015 that Final Fantasy IX will be enhanced and re-released on Windows and smartphones. Gameplay. In Final Fantasy IX, the player navigates a character throughout the game world, exploring areas and interacting with non-player characters. Most of the game occurs in towns and dungeons, which are referred to as field screens. To aid exploration on the field screen, Final Fantasy IX introduces the field icon, an exclamation mark appearing over their lead character's head, signaling an item or sign is nearby. Players speak with Moogles to record their progress, restore life energy with a tent and purchase items, a deviation from previous installments, which used a save point to perform these functions. Moogles may request the playable character deliver letters to other Moogles via Mognet. Playable characters might also receive letters from non-playable characters. Players journey between field screen locations on the world map, a three-dimensional, downsized representation of Final Fantasy IX's world presented from a top-down perspective. Players can freely navigate around the world map screen unless restricted by terrain like bodies of water or mountain ranges. To overcome geographical limitations, players can ride chocobos, sail on a boat or pilot airships. Like previous Final Fantasy installments, travel across the world map screen and hostile field screen locations is interrupted by random enemy encounters. Final Fantasy IX offers a new approach to town exploration with the introduction of active time events. These allow the player to view events unfolding at different locations, providing character development, special items and prompts for key story-altering decisions. 8 are occasionally used to simultaneously control two teams when the party is divided to solve puzzles and navigate mazes. Combat. Whenever the playable character encounters an enemy, the map changes to the battle screen. On the battle screen, the enemy appears on the opposite side of the characters. Each battle uses the familiar active time battle system that was first featured in Final Fantasy IV. The character's command list is presented in a window opposite the ATB gauge list, while all characters can physically attack the enemy or use an item from the player's inventory. They also possess unique abilities. For example, the thief Zidane can steal items from the enemy. Aiko and Garnet can summon Eidolons to aid the party, and Vivi can use black magic to damage the opposition. These character-specific commands change when the player goes into trance mode, which is activated for a short duration when an uncontrollable gauge fills as character sustains damage in a style similar to the limit breaks used in Final Fantasy VII. When the gauge is full, the character's strength is amplified, and the player can select special attack commands. Zidane's skill command list, for example, changes to Dine, allowing him to execute powerful attacks. Vivi's black magic command evolves into Double Black, allowing him to cast 2 magic spells simultaneously. Through the configuration screen, the player can change the battle style from normal to custom, which allows 2 players to control any combination of characters during battle. However, 2 controllers must be plugged into the PlayStation. A character's performance in battle is determined by numerical values for categories like speed, strength and magical power. Character statistics are driven by experience. When players win battles, they are awarded experience points, which accumulate until characters gain experience levels. When characters level up, the statistics for their attributes permanently increase, which may also be amplified by the types of equipment the character is wearing. Winning battles also awards the player money, Tetramaster playing cards, items and ability points. Abilities and equipment. Final Fantasy IX deviates from the style of customizable characters featured in the last 2 titles by reviving the character class concept, which designates a character to a certain role in battle. For example, Vivi is designated as a black mage and is the only character who can use black magic, and Steiner is a knight and is the only character who can use sword skills. The basic function of equipment in Final Fantasy games is to increase character attributes. Arming Zidane with a mithril vest, for example, increases his base defense statistic. In Final Fantasy IX, weapons and armor include special character abilities, which the character may use when the item is equipped. Once the character accumulates enough ability points in battle, the ability becomes usable without having to keep the item equipped. In addition to granting abilities, the equipment in Final Fantasy IX determines the statistical growth of the characters at the time of level up. Armor not only raises base defense or evasion statistics but raises defense or other statistics at level up. Abilities are classified into action and support categories. Action abilities consume magic points and include magic spells and special moves that are used in battle. Support abilities provide functions that remain in effect indefinitely and must be equipped with magic stones to be functional. The maximum number of these stones increases as the characters level up. Tetramaster is a card-based mini-game that can be initiated with various non-playable characters in the field. Players assemble a deck of 5 cards, which can be obtained via chests, given as a reward, or earned from fighting monsters. Each card has various arrows which point to the 4 sides and 4 corners of the card, and various stats that vary between cards, with rarer cards being more powerful. Players take it in turns to strategically place cards on a 4x4 playing grid based on the available directions. Battles can occur when players place a card next to another card, depending on where the player places it. If the defending card has no arrows whilst the attacking card has an arrow pointing towards it, that card is placed under the player's control. When 2 arrows meet with each other, the cards do battle based on their point values, with the losing card coming under the winning player's control, sometimes triggering combos that put multiple cards in the winner's control. After all cards are played, the winner is the player who has the most cards under their control, with a draw occurring if they have the same number of cards. The winning player may choose a card from their opponent's deck out of the ones they put under their control. If the winning player scores a perfect win, however, in which all 10 cards are put under their control, they will win all 5 cards from the opponent's deck. Plot setting. Final Fantasy IX takes place primarily on the 4 continents of a world named Gaia. Most of Gaia's population reside on the Mist continent, named so because the entire continent is blanketed in thick mist. Lands outside the Mist Continent, the outer, lost and forgotten continents, are uncharted territories not explored until midway through the game. Several locations on the parallel world of Terra and the dreamland of Memoria round out the game's areas. The Mist Continent features 4 nations: Alexandria, Lindblum, Burmecia, and Clara. Alexandria is a kingdom to the northeast of the Mist Continent ruled by a monarchy located in Alexandria Castle. The technologically advanced Lindblum, ruled by a regent, is nestled on a plateau to the southwest where airships regularly fly by. The kingdom of Burmecia, whose capital is showered by eternal rain, is to the northwest and nearby to the isolated Claran civilization, which is nestled in a giant tree in the desert, protected by a powerful sandstorm. Trenna, a large, perpetually dark city, heavily populated by both aristocrats and paupers, is located on the southeast part of the continent. The Mist Continent is extremely mountainous, resulting in a natural barrier between many of the ruling nations. Gaia is inhabited by humans and various non-human races. Alexandria, Trenna, and Lindblum are populated by a mix of humans and anthropomorphic animals. The Burmecians are anthropomorphic rats who value dance, thus accounting for their general aversion to footwear, and live in both Burmecia and Clara. The Clarans split from the Burmecians when the latter started to appreciate the art of war. The dwarves are short humanoid creatures who appear as inhabitants of the village of Kondpeti on the outer continent. There is also a village of black mages that have gained sentient thought, who reside in the outer continent, as well. The Genomes, an artificial race of Solace vessels, inhabit Terra. They will house the once dormant Terran souls when Terra assimilates Gaia. Summoners are similar to other humans, but with a horn on their forehead. In the story, only 2 summoners remain. The others were exterminated when the Terran warship Invincible destroyed their homeland of Madain Sari. Lastly, the Qu are large, seemingly androgynous humanoids, who are recognized as fine gourmands. They inhabit marshlands throughout the world where they catch their main source of nutrition: frogs. Characters: the 8 main playable characters in Final Fantasy IX are Zidane Tribal, a member of a group of bandits called Tantalus masquerading as a theater troupe; Garnet till Alexandros 17, the Princess of Alexandria who has a strange connection to Eidolons; Vivi Arunisha, a young, timid, and kind black mage trying to find the meaning of his existence; Adalbert Steiner, the captain of the Knights of Pluto and loyal servant of Alexandria; and Princess Garnet, Freya Crescent, a dragon knight from the city of Burmecia looking for her lost love, Queen Aquen, a Qu whose master wants her to travel the world so that he will learn about cuisine. Aiko Carol, a 6-year-old girl living in Madain Sari, the lost village of the Eidolon summoners, and along with Garnet, one of the last 2 remaining summoners, and Amaranth Coral, a bounty hunter hired to return Garnet to Alexandria. Other main characters include Regent Sitfabul, the charismatic leader of Lindblum; Queen Brana, Garnet's mother; and the power-hungry Queen of Alexandria, General Beatrix, the powerful leader of the female Knights of Alexandria; and antagonists Kuja, an arms dealer and enemy of Gaia. Other minor characters and groups also appear, such as Blank, Zidane's good friend and band partner, but their significance and backstories are revealed as the game progresses. Story: Final Fantasy IX begins with Zidane and the Tantalus Theatre Troupe kidnapping Princess Garnet during her 16th birthday celebration. The group learns that Garnet, who is concerned about Queen Brani's increasingly erratic behavior, actually wanted to escape to Lindblum to meet with Regent Sid, and had planned to stow away on the theatre ship. The troupe's airship, Prima Vista, is damaged during the escape. It crashes in the evil forest, prompting Zidane to continue the trek to Lindblum without the rest of Tantalus. Zidane and Garnet are accompanied by Vivi and Steiner, who became entangled with Tantalus during their escape from Alexandria. During their journey, Garnet adopts the alias Dagger, and struggles to mingle with the locals. The group learns of a factory inside the village of Dali that manufactures soulless black mage soldiers for Alexandria's use. Brana dispatches 3 powerful ones called Black Waltzes to retrieve Dagger by force, though the party manages to defeat them. Upon arriving in Lindblom, the party meet with Regent Sid, who has been turned into an Oglop, a bug-like creature, by his wife Hilda for his womanizing behavior. Wishing to protect Dagger from Brani's newfound aggression, he had ordered Tantalus to kidnap her. The party decide to rest in Lindblom. When the group learns that Alexandria has invaded Burmecia, Zidane investigates the situation with Freya and Vivi, while Dagger and Steiner head to Alexandria to ask Brana to stop the war. Zidane's party discover that Burmecia has been conquered by both Brana and a mysterious man called Kuja, with many of its citizens seeking refuge in the nearby city of Clara. The defense of Clara is organized by Zidane and his party, whilst Dagger confronts both her mother and Kuja about the invasion. They refuse to listen to her, and Queen Brana has Dagger's eidolons forcibly extracted from her body. Brana, traveling on her airship, uses one of Dagger's eidolons, Odin, to destroy Clara. Zidane and company, escaping on Brani's ship, head to Alexandria to save Dagger, only for Brana to attack Lindblom, destroying much of the city with another of Dagger's stolen eidolons, Atomos. Afterward, having arrived at Lindblom, the party are informed by Regent Sid about Kuja, who serves as Brani's arms dealer. The party travels to the outer continent, the location of Kuja's headquarters, through an underground tunnel with the help of Quina. There, the party meets a young summoner named Aiko, who assumes herself to be the last survivor of Madain Sari. They also discover a village inhabited by self-aware black mages. Their pursuit of Kuja leads them to the nearby IIFA tree, an entity that dissipates a fighting stimulant called mist. They learn that Kuja uses mist to create the black mages. The party defeats the IIFA tree's core and stops the mist from flowing. When the party returns to Madain Seri, they encounter Amarant, who was hired by Brana to apprehend Dagger. Impressed by Zidane's strength, Amarant joins the party, whilst Dagger comes to appreciate that she, like Keiko, is also a summoner from Madain Sari. At the IIFA tree, Brana turns against Kuja and attempts to kill him with the eidolon Bahamut. However, Kuja uses the airship Invincible to gain control of Bahamut, killing Brana and defeating her army. Before she dies, Brana reconciles with Dagger. The party returns to Alexandria, and the city makes preparations for Dagger to be crowned queen. However, on the very evening of her coronation, Kuja assaults Alexandria with Bahamut. Aiko and Dagger summon the legendary eidolon Alexander, who overpowers Bahamut. Kuja attempts to control Alexander using the Invincible, but is foiled by a mysterious old man named Garland. Garland used the Invincible to destroy Alexander and parts of Alexandria. Kuja, still intent on mastering a powerful eidolon to defeat Garland, flees the city. Alexandria's destruction shocks Dagger and causes her to lose her voice. The party learns of Kuja's desert palace and attempts an assault. However, Kuja imprisons the party and escapes with Aiko to extract her eidolons. During the extraction attempt, Aiko's guardian Mughal Mog uses trance to transform into her true form, the eidolon Medine, disrupting the process. Learning of the powers of trance, Kuja escapes to further his aim of defeating Garland. The party rescues Aiko and also finds Hilda, who had been abducted by Kuja for her airship. Hilda turns Sid back into a human, allowing him to design an airship for the party that uses steam instead of mist for power. Meanwhile, Dagger resolves to defeat Kuja and regains the use of her voice. With Hilda's aid, the party pursues Kuja to a hidden place called Terror by opening a portal. In the Terran town of Branbal, it is revealed that Terror is a parallel world. The people of Terra had created Garland to orchestrate the process of assimilating Terra into Gaia, as the Terran world was dying. Garland created genomes, intelligent, sentient beings who lack souls, to become future vessels for the souls of the Terrans. The IIFA tree's existence, the phenomenon of mist, the Eidolon's destruction, and even Kuja and Zidane's true purpose of existence were part of the process. Angered by Garland's motives, the party confronts him. However, Kuja has now obtained enough souls to achieve trance. Kuja kills Garland, but not before Garland warns him of his limited lifespan, and that Zidane was the ultimate angel of death, designed to replace him. Enraged by this revelation, Kuja uses his trance powers to destroy Terra while the party rescues the genomes and returns to Gaia aboard the Invincible. The party discovers that mist has returned and now envelops all of Gaia. Assisted by the combined forces of Lindblom and Alexandria, they travel to the IIFA tree, where they are teleported to a mysterious location called Memoria. The spirit of Garland guides the party to Kuja as they aim to prevent his destruction of Gaia. When Kuja is defeated, he uses his trance abilities to target the crystal, the source of life, prompting the appearance of Necron, a being bent on destroying life. After Necron is defeated, Gaia is saved and Memoria and the IIFA tree dramatically collapse. Although Kuja teleports the party to safety, Zidane returns to save him. Sometime later, Alexandria has been rebuilt, and Tantalus arrives in Alexandria to perform I Want to Be Your Canary. Early scenes reveal what has happened to many of the main characters. Steiner and Beatrix have returned to their old posts as royal bodyguards and have also become romantically involved. Aiko has been adopted by Regent Sid and Lady Hilda. Freya is attempting to start over with her former love, Sifratli. Amarant is reunited with Lani while on his way to Alexandria. Quina has now become the head chef of the Alexandria Castle kitchen, and black mages looking identical to Vivi are identified as Vivi's sons. In between these scenes a monologue is given by Vivi where he reminisces about the adventures they had together and bids farewell to everyone, implying his death due to his limited lifespan. Dagger has settled into her role as the Queen of Alexandria, though it is revealed that Zidane has not yet returned. During the performance, one of the performers removes his cloak and reveals himself to be Zidane. Dagger rushes onto the stage, abandoning her dropped summoner pendant, and embraces Zidane.